Open it up.
That was a good one, dude. Open it up. Cheers, brother. Cheers.
Dreams and nightmare, baby. Bird gang. Bang, bang, bird gang. Check
Go
out that
Beds.
can. Check out that
Beds
can.
are up. I got to put it into the Yeti. By the way, we'll take the sponsorship.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Cold One Conversations. We're back. We're better than ever. We're hitting left and right, above 50%. If you're following our picks, make sure you follow us on Instagram at Brendan Petrilli, at Harry Heaps, on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Subscribe to the button. Click the button wherever it is on the YouTube page here. Make sure you subscribe. Put the bell on because we're coming out with content every week. Make sure you go check out the BSP podcast, too. A little bit extra content because right now the Phillies are absolutely choking right now, and I'm pissed off. But we sold our souls for the Philadelphia Eagles to make a Super Bowl run, and that's what we're focused on right now. Harry doesn't want to talk baseball until we get to the playoffs.
That's right.
So let's get into it here, Harry Heaps. How are we doing, my brother? We both hit a couple bets this weekend. We're rocking and rolling. We're having fun. The views are doing great. The people are awesome.
We're doing our
We
thing.
need those subscribers up, though. Make sure you subscribe. But other than that, we're doing great.
We're doing great. Listen, we're back. I am Harry Heaps. I'm joined by Brendan Petrilli. We're ready to get this going. By the way, for all of our viewers, if you notice, I am rocking the John Cena 2012 to 2013 T-shirt, Never Give Up, purple edition. This is when he was facing Nexus. If any WWE fans are in the room, let me know if we want to start doing a WWE podcast. That might be the next moneymaker. I'm doing good, dude. It was finally good week worth of football. Glad to be in it. Yeah, I don't want to talk any baseball until we kind of get into the playoffs. The one thing I'm going to mention, you don't get to say anything about baseball because that's, you'll override the show. But I get to say one thing. Gunnar Henderson just got named the Orioles young player. He's a young buck getting brought up. Just got named the minor league player of the year.
Hey, attaboy, Gunnar.
Yep.
Done.
Yep. Literally.
Get the whole stadium going.
Yeah. Whole stadium. Okay. But the point being, go Gunner, go Gunner, go Gunner. Go Gunner, go Gunner, go Gunner. Basically, I think that this is going to be an incredible podcast. We need those numbers up. Let's get those subs up. We're on episode 4. We're going into week 4 of the NFL season. We're here to give you our picks. We're going to give you our recap. And dude, we both did well this past week. We got to get into the recaps of the game. We'll break down how we did. But, dude, I'm excited. Are you ready to kick it off with our recaps?
Yeah, for sure. Let's get into it here. You know, I went 4-2 with our picks that we put up. Harry hit a big parlay that he didn't share with the boys on Monday night, but that's okay. But let's dive into the first game here. The Jacksonville Jaguars. How about them? The Fighting Dougie Pease and Trevor Lawrence going into California against the Chargers. And just absolutely mollywopping them 38-10.
I know.
I mean, dude,
it's ridiculous, dude. I mean, maybe I was wrong. You know, I said to you after the game, I was like, they're a candle that's just going to get blown out. But dude, I mean, then I remember they got Trevor Lawrence, and this is the first time he's had a real coach. Dude, does this team and they're right now at the top of their division. So like, what is going on, dude? Dougie P is bringing it. Trevor Lawrence with that godly mane of hair coming out there. I mean, dude, have you ever seen longer hair in a helmet? Longer hair in a helmet by a QB? I haven't. I've never seen a guy at the quarterback position with that long hair.
The Broncos QB before Cutler, Jake Plummer. He had the long hair and the helmet too, the greasy long hair.
Jake Plummer. You know who had a good head of hair? What's his name? Who was the guy? He was in Denver, or no, he wasn't in Denver. Who was the guy who was a wash? He was supposed to be so good. He was great coming out of college, and he smoked cigarettes on the sideline. I'll get back to you. Marlboro, by the way. Marlboro.
Cutler? Jay Cutler?
Oh, yeah. Cutler, dude. Yeah.
Cutler had an okay career, but yeah, I know.
Nah. He was horrible, dude. He sucked. But no, let's stay on topic here.
But Jay, if you'd love to come on, we'd love to have you.
Yeah, we'd love to have you. And I will literally tell you that you're the greatest player of all time. But the point being, let's get into this game. They win 38-10. Trevor Lawrence has, by his body language, the best time he's ever had since being in the NFL. It looked like he had an even better time than when he signed his contract. I mean, because he's winning. He's back to winning. He's got a winning schedule right now, right? He's 2-1.
That's what he did at Clemson.
Yeah, exactly.
He wasn't used to losing.
Exactly. Loses on the road to start the season in Washington, then goes on at home, beats the Colts, and then on the road again in arguably the most beautiful stadium in the NFL against the Chargers, does a absolute blowout against arguably who was supposed to be one of the top teams in the NFL, the Las Vegas Chargers, right? Goes on, wins 38-10. And listen, dude, right now, next 3 games, when you look at it, even though we're going to stick with this team could right now truly go, without a doubt, they could go 6-1 right now. I mean, maybe not 6-1, 6-2. They got the Eagles this coming week. That's probably a loss, without a doubt. That's a loss. But then after that, dude, Texans, Colts, Giants. Those are all 3 absolute winnable games. No question about it.
For sure.
This could definitely be a team that, maybe I think originally, dude, what did I can go back in my notes. I don't even know what I gave them to win this season. I think it was very low. I'm going to check on that. While I definitely
said 6 or 7 because I knew that they were going to get better.
I'm going to look it up right now.
Because I knew Doug Peterson was going to come in there. He was going to be the man in the room that they needed. They got a lot of young guys. They brought in Christian Kirk. You finally get a couple weapons with for Trevor Lawrence down there. You build up that defensive line, that O-line, that Doug Peterson knows coming from the Eagles. That's what they love to do, is build up both sides of the trenches, and that's what they did. He got the other Josh Allen on the defensive side, absolutely just gets after the quarterback. They've always had corners, but they just haven't been able to keep them in AJ Bouye and Jalen Ramsey. But now you got other young guys stepping up in there that are able to cover the back end. You let Josh Allen go after him, and Herbert had the cartilage tear or whatever he had in his ribs, but he was still throwing the ball 45 times for 300 yards.
He's a fucking warrior, dude.
I mean, that's wild. We'll get to more of the Chargers in a second, but for them to come out and still see the production on the Chargers side where they were trying, it's not like what we were talking about last week where they could have sat him, let this game kind of go by, let Herbert heal up.
Absolutely.
The Chargers took it to them. They almost forced their hand, be like, wow, we're down so much. We might as well just take him out. This is embarrassing. Let him heal because he was getting hit so much.
Yeah.
And that all comes from the leadership in the room and Doug Peterson, where you saw.
I love when that happens, too.
Yeah.
When you see guys just get hit and then the coach is like, do we take him out? What do we do right now, dude? Keep going. I'm sorry.
But when it comes down to it, Doug's not a big rah-rah guy, but he's been there. He's done that.
Right.
And he's been in the league for so long that guys have rallied around him. He's given a different atmosphere. He's not finger blasting girls at the end of games. He's going and he's eating some ice cream at the end of games. He's going and he's not kicking your kicker in practice. He's going to Trevor Lawrence. He's like, hey, man, maybe put a visor on. You'll look a little bit better with the hair to let it flow a little bit. I'll teach you how to throw the ball and rock and roll. They've been able to run the ball with James Robinson and Travis Etienne. They've built a solid squad. All these guys are 6'4", and they all run 4.4s. So they've got athletes.
Yeah. I think that, Dougie P also comes off as a guy. You look at Nick Foles, a.k.a. Please give us the nickname as the honorary Eagles fan.
BDN.
Correct. Dougie P looks like a guy who's definitely given, Trevor a little squeeze of the package while they're on the sideline, a little squeeze of the butt cheeks. And I think that is influencing Trevor to be like, hey, the coach is back to squeezing these butt cheeks. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to deliver. And what is he going? He's getting that butt squeezed. He's going out there and he's squeezing some butts, putting up 38-10. Listen, dude, this is not a team, right, that I think either of us think is a viable playoff team, if not, a playoff team at all. But it's fun to see the little guy like this. It's fun to get that team where you don't hate them like how I would hate the Browns or, how you would hate the Commanders. It's fun to see, an underdog getting to come up right now. And we're getting to see a guy who had one of the most tremendous college quarterback careers of any college quarterback of all time, to now finally be back in a winning standpoint. It's just phenomenal to see. If I think back to it, I didn't find it in my notes, but I think that I said that they were either going to get 5 to 6 wins. I think I was a game under you. So if you think that you went 6 or 7, I was probably 5 or 6. But dude, I mean, listen, you look at this schedule coming up and throughout, dude, they have arguably really winnable games here, right? Like, absolutely. I've said it. We'll get into the bets later. Eagles are winning this game, right? So let's say that right there, you're at 2-2, right? Texans 3-2, Colts. Let's say they beat them again. They double down or they split. We'll say 3-3. Giants, they win, right? 4-3. Broncos, who knows right now, right? They could lose. Raiders, they could definitely win if they play the way they just did. The Raiders don't know what's going on. Chiefs, they lose. Ravens, they lose. But then you've got, dude, Lions, Titans, Cowboys, Jets, Texans, Titans. These are all winnable games for this team right now. And listen, dude, if Dougie can get more than 8 wins, he will secure. Did he get a long-term contract? I don't know.
Yeah. But I mean, coach of the year for sure.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, if you get Jacksonville 8+ wins, maybe even get feisty to win that AFC South.
And they're on track to, dude. And I'll be honest that, I don't. By the way that they're playing right now, I would say it's probably a safe bet to say that they do.
The biggest thing I take away from this game, right, from my own personal standpoint, is it was good to see that what this team can do. Because if they would have came out and the Chargers, maybe they come from behind a late push and maybe cover or something like that, but lose to the Chargers, the Eagles kind of look, and the rest of the NFL and me and you kind of look, oh, they're feisty, They got young guys, but they just aren't there yet. But them coming out and beating the Chargers bad in LA,
slaughtering them, yeah,
it really puts them on notice and goes, wait a minute, the antennas go up. We got to take this team serious. They're coming to our place. We got to go and we gotta take care of business.
Straight up.
Because if we don't, they will answer and they will take it to us. We've seen them do it the first couple weeks of the season. Even in their loss, it was a close game. So that was the biggest thing for me, is that the Jaguars have put the NFL on notice is we're not just gonna just roll over and die anymore for you guys. We have talent all over the place. Now, whether the talent will make plays and not give up big turnovers and key times and make winning plays, that takes time for a young team to do. That's yet to be seen, and that takes overtime.
Absolutely.
But we'll see where it goes from there for this team.
And where I would close out on this is, at the end of the day, I don't want to bring up Colin Cowherd too much, but I think the way that he engages young quarterbacks and what he says about them a lot of times turns out to be true, right? And a big thing that I would concur with him is that you got a guy in Trevor Lawrence. He's grounded. He's married straight out of college. He's all about football straight out of college.
The knee wasn't down, though. He might have rolled a fake. The knee wasn't all the way down.
The point, I hate you, dude. I'm trying to make a point here. The point being is that this is a young guy that this franchise that has been bad for so long, not so long per se. They had a decent playoff run back when we were
the boat,
but
Blake Bortles.
Yeah, that's the truth. Do you remember when Jalen was like, "We're winning the Super Bowl"? Do you remember that? He was like so amped, and then Tom was like, "No."
2017 when the Eagles, it was the 4 quarterbacks was Tom Brady, Blake Bortles, Case Keenum, and Big Dick Nick Foles.
And the truth is, though, is that Jalen, his talent, dude, could not be contained in Jacksonville. He had to get out of there. But let me finish making this point. The point being is that Trevor Lawrence is a guy that an organization that needs a rebuild, that needs a winning culture, that now has acquired a coach that can help develop that. They need a guy who's grounded. They need a guy who's centered. They need a guy who's all about football. They need a guy who's used to winning, who's disgusted by losing. And they've got that in this guy. And they can capitalize off of it. And as we just said, let's say they get 8 wins. Dougie P wins Coach of the Year. They go on. They build from here. Who knows? Maybe Trevor Lawrence goes against what I originally thought was he's going to find a way to get the hell out of there. Maybe he establishes his career in Florida. He's a Southern boy. Maybe he wants to stay there. Maybe he creates a winning culture in a horrible division. Maybe this could be the next Aaron Rodgers. Maybe this could be the guy who takes advantage of a horrible division, gets the right coach with him, gets weapons, and then from there develops out into the AFC. We know he's got the talent. You know that if he was on a roster like the Ravens, like Miami, like the Chiefs, this guy would be in the same conversation, even with how young he is. He'd be above Herbert. He'd be in the conversation with Patrick and Josh Allen and Lamar. Lamar's right now the second best quarterback in the league. He'd be in the top 5 conversation.
The difference is you had a coach last year for him, right? His first year.
Right.
2 wins. His coach this year has already matched that total.
Yeah.
In 3 games.
Yeah.
The atmosphere is different there. And the atmosphere comes with a guy that knows how to win. And there was 2 teams that played that know how to win, that have prestigious head coaches. And that's the Baltimore Ravens and the Patriots.
There you go. Good segue.
They won head-to-head.
Head-to-head, dude. I mean,
your Ravens, they came out on top, but it was ugly.
It was ugly, dude. And
you would go back and forth. I placed that bet live on the Cold One Conversations that if you would have tailed it, we fucking nailed it. But we sweated it out a little bit. I'm texting Harry. I'm like, what the fuck's up with your team? Why aren't they blowing this team out? Why didn't they blow this team out, Harry?
Dude, okay, we're gonna get into it. Let me start off by first saying, you know what? No, I'm gonna do an opposite order. I'm gonna do the bad, and then I'm gonna lay on the cake, baby. Number one, I always love a good showdown. John Harbaugh versus Bill Belichick. I think it's one of the best coaching matchups you can see. It's the greatest of all time coach in the NFL versus arguably, without a doubt, a top 5 coach in the NFL. Consistently great, a Super Bowl champion winning head coach, and a guy who is just a phenomenal head coach, truly. Has helped develop Joe Flacco to win a Super Bowl, has helped develop now Lamar Jackson to be, a league MVP. Just an incredible guy. But the point being is what we see now is we see 2 things that are definite. The bad things. Number one, Lamar is going to get what the fuck he wants to get this offseason if he's playing the way he is. Lamar right now is playing the way that a guaranteed $260 million quarterback with a $300 million deal plays. He's the second best quarterback in the league right now, right behind Josh Allen. He can score from anywhere in the pocket. He's not running at all. He's choosing. What I love is that Lamar is choosing when he wants to run. It's not his number 1 option. It's his 3rd or 4th. And guess why that also is, Trilly? Because for the first time ever since Lamar came, guess what he's got? A solid offensive line. Dude, I'm telling you right now, I said it last week, I'm going to say it again. Linderbaum is going to turn out to be the biggest steal of the NFL draft this past year. There's no question about it, dude. If Lamar goes on to have the season that he is, Linderbaum will be the biggest steal of the draft. Starting center right out of college, starts week 1, phenomenal. But let's talk about the bad stuff.
Well, you said it last year at the end of the postseason that the whole O-line should be get rid of all of them.
Yeah, well, because what happened, dude? He got concussed.
Yeah,
he got concussed in Buffalo, dude. We committed that game. I'm not going to go on a tangent, but that game we committed 5 in a row penalties that backed us all the way up to our own goal line, or sorry, on the 5 of our own goal line. Snap goes over his head. He has to recover it and gets concussed with 4 minutes left in the 4th quarter. I digress. The point being is the Ravens have lost their identity as a franchise this season. And that is what's scary.
Yeah.
We have no defensive pressure. What did I say that got us the views? I'm out on Mike McDaniel. How are you not adjusting?
Make sure you subscribe. We're getting the views. Subscribe.
Subscribe. Mike McDaniel, subscribe. If you come on, you are the greatest defensive coach of all time. You should be a head coach. The point being is that when we look at this game, I don't care what the viewers are going to say in the comments. I get it. You're right. Did the secondary have some interceptions? Yes, they did. But when did they get him? They got him off of late mistakes in the second half, after the Patriots were already delivering points, after Mac Jones had already run in for a touchdown and then barely got the second one called back, right? Mac Jones was looking like Lamar out there for Lamar's past 2 seasons. He's running all over the place. Who could we not cover? Right now, the Patriots' number 1 receiver. I'm sorry I'm forgetting his name. I'm sure Trilly will come up with it. Number 1,
Parker,
their wide receiver.
Devontae Parker?
Correct, Devontae Parker. We could not for the life of us double team him, shut him down. And then, Williams, Clark, and Humphrey in the second half get a get an interception. But where is that in the first half when the game's getting close? Where is that after Lamar puts up a touchdown and then you're letting the team march all over you? And you can see it all over John Harbaugh's face. He's bewildered by watching such a phenomenal defensive team. You can see that he doesn't recognize what he's coaching. When you look at him, and as a Ravens fan who has watched my coach's body language for years, the way John Harbaugh's main move is what he always does. He wears his glasses, the cap's forward, and he's got his hands on his hips like this the whole time. But when he's angry, it's this. And he's been doing that every defensive drive. The teeth are gritted. And what it says to me is that he doesn't understand what's going on with our team right now. That's besides the point. I've laid it out. Let's talk about the great parts of this team. Number one, Mark Andrews had his freaking day, proving why he's arguably the number one to number two best tight end in the league. Lamar, again, throwing for 3 touchdowns plus 1 from the feet. Absolutely just, absolutely phenomenal game once again by Lamar. I want to go a little bit more into the whole breakdown of kind of what happened during this game, just because we look at the rating, right? 18 for 29. Again, Lamar back-to-back weeks only having to throw the ball 29 times, 218 yards, 4 touchdowns, only 1 interception. He was sacked 4 times, but he had a QB rating of 84. We saw Dobbins finally back with 7 carries, 23 yards. Not the best, but Jackson and Hill had great distribution. And the thing that you're seeing, real quick, that I want to get your opinion on, is what I've noticed that he's really trying to develop right now? Because he's just overthrowing it by a yard or 2 every time. Mm-hmm. Dude, he wants Bateman to become the number 1 receiver. He is looking for Bateman to become the guy on that team right now. He's looking for him to be what Hollywood Brown could never have been, which is to not drop the ball. When Bateman's getting his hands on the ball, he's got it. But Lamar sometimes just sailing at 1 or 2 yards right above him. He can't get it. Either way, dude, I absolutely, I always thought that my team was basically going to be a 28-point team that stops you. And now we're a 35-plus team that can't stop you. Very interesting. We're definitely winning the AFC North, but dude, if we can't keep points off the board, we're in trouble when it comes to playoff season. Otherwise, Lamar's going on to have an MVP year right now, and on top of that, he's going to get a massive contract. He keeps playing the way he's playing. What were your takeaways from the game, dude?
Yeah, he had a lot of great things there. My biggest point is your last statement there, right? It's that defense.
Yeah.
And the reason that you guys have a chance and why you should still win the AFC North.
Right.
That's because you can't stop the top guys, let alone Tua's, guys like that. No disrespect to Tua, but we'll see a little bit more of it. But you got a shot against the Trubiskys, Deshaun Watson yet to be seen when he comes back. Jacoby Brissett's for now. Joe Burrow is your best competition, but he has no offensive line right now.
And Lamar Jackson's playing way better than him right now.
And Lamar, yes, exactly. Lamar will carry you each and every game. He's going to do everything in his power to get you those points.
Yeah.
Now, if he gets the ball at the end of the game, that's yet to be seen, where your defense can make a play or two. Now, I think that comes with a lot of turnover and a lot of trust and building throughout the season. That's probably what you're kind of looking at this point. Absolutely. You're looking for somebody just to grow into that mark and be like, hey, this is our defense. We need to do something. Lamar is balling his ass out for us. We need to do something to help him. That's kind of at the point that you're at right now, because he's doing it with a bunch of young guys. Andrews is the oldest one there.
Yes.
You're talking Bateman, right? He wants Bateman to be the top guy. Duvernay, they're handing the ball off to him. He's taking the ball to the house off kick returns.
Yep.
Dobbins is his first game back. Maybe healthy, maybe not. Well, who knows? You don't even have the Gus Bus back. That makes that rushing offense way different. Now, the biggest thing I can kind of see to try to help that defense is running the ball more. Because when you have Lamar Jackson running for 100 yards and everybody else running below 50, that takes a big toll. It's a big difference if those other guys are getting 50 plus a pop or, each, other than Lamar Jackson running for a 50. You
Absolutely.
take up time possession. You take the pressure off the defense. They aren't as tired. They get more time to look at the stupid little tablets on the sideline to hype each other up.
Tommy loves those. He loves the tablet.
Yeah, and that's just the biggest thing. They got to get back to that running football where Lamar's kind of been slinging it a little bit, honestly, from the games I've watched. They got to get back to that running football team to help the defense.
Well, keep going. I'm sorry.
Because the biggest thing with that defense is they've been out there too long. They got a lot of turnover, and they're getting exposed now.
They don't know how to stop. They don't know how to stop time of possession whatsoever. We saw in the Miami game, Lamar knows how to now differentiate when I'm going to run it, when I'm going to pass it, when I'm going to run it, when I'm going to pass it. What did I say to you on our third episode, dude? I go, that 10-minute, 39-second drive, dude, first opening drive after we return for a touchdown, Miami gets the ball, our first possession. We took 10 minutes to get down the field, almost a whole quarter. It was tremendous. It was phenomenal. Lamar has a true understanding of that. What's his name? Our fullback. I love him. I hate that.
Ricard, Patrick Ricard.
310 shredded. The only team.
He's a monster.
He is a monster. The only team that's still legitimately using the fullback position regularly in weekly
49ers do with Usech.
Right, but okay, but outside of that.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. The point, well, at least in the AFC. Yeah. Where that's a regular part of our game plan, right? And so the whole thing that I think, man, that goes along with this, by the way, you brought up some great points I want to draw some comparisons to. Quickly is number one, you talked about Lamar carrying us. I'm going to touch on that in a second, but you brought up Mark Andrews. Do you know what I see in Mark Andrews? He is the Gronk for Lamar. The way that their body language is when they come together, where he's on the field, he just always knows where he needs to be for that quarterback. I think that Mark Andrews would be great on any team. He's a phenomenal athlete. But there's something about the connection that he has with Lamar that's different. He has this certain cadence where, just like Gronk was with Tom, I'm where Tom needs me to be whenever he needs me to be there. And I just see that and I love it.
How many years in are they? 4, 5?
They're 4 in now. 4 in. 3 starting, 4 in. Yes. And what I think's interesting is, the point that you bring up about how Lamar's going to carry our ass. Sooner or later, you're going to see Lamar starting to break an iPad when he's giving the game that he's giving you. And then those guys on the other side of his sideline, on his side of the bench, because they're separated. They're not even teammates. They're teammates for that day, but when they're at practice, defense and offense are completely different people, right? That sideline is giving the game away when he's going out there and balling out, not even under contract. So, listen, man, loved the game. That it came out with a win, but the Ravens, as I said last week, we got a lot to improve on if we want to be in that Super Bowl hunt. And I believe that we can be. I believe, dude, I'll go out and say it. I believe that we're currently the 4th best team in the AFC. That's what I believe. But we can't be if we can't keep points off. Let's go to another game.
Yeah, well, the biggest thing is keeping points off. And the only other team that we kind of talked about within the division is the Cincinnati Bengals. They're the only team that can really put up the points, and they're kind of figuring out their offense after coming off of that Super Bowl high where they lost in a tough game to the Rams in the Super Bowl, go out and they get their first win against the Jets. Whoever's the idiot that would take the Jets plus 6.5, you're dumb. You're dumb. That's straight up. Why would you ever bet on the Jets? Shout out to you, Anthony Gargano, you dumb fuck. But anyway, why would you not take Joe Burrow and those offensive weapons?
Who did you just get angry at?
He's a sports talk host for The Fanatic. He gave me a little sass. Whatever. He gave me sass when I gave him a pick. So
okay,
that's behind the scenes. Whatever.
He's done. Done.
Hey, all those Philly people, you know who I'm talking about. Anthony, I'm not a huge fan of Anthony.
Fuck him. Let's go Green Bay, Tampa.
You know what? All right, whatever.
Let's go. Because this is the middle of the cake. We got the 9-minute timer because this is a game that I can just rant on about So let's put me on the clock.
All right,
Number one, what did I say? If you saw our bet slip, repost it when we put it on. It's going to come out every Saturday and Sunday morning, our bet slip of what we're giving you on Thursdays for you to put in to remember before game time. My lock of that, it hit. I said, take it. What did I say, Trilly? Take Green Bay's money line. Aaron will beat Tom in a game that does not matter. And he narrowly did, but he still did.
Yeah, you were calling me. You were hyped. Oh, that was a lock. I knew it. And all of a sudden, Tom comes back and he almost gets it.
Back. He did almost catch it, dude. But either way, I was still right. And if you put money on it, you still would have won. They win the game 14-12. Aaron throws for two touchdowns. What do I know? I know this game. That's what I know, baby. Throws for 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Tommy. Didn't seem to have the ball under control. What did we say? He was going to favor. Who did he pick? Number one, he starts out the game. They're listing all the guys who are out. Who was the dude they signed number 15 for like a 3-week contract?
What, Cole Beasley?
Is that Cole Beasley that Tampa Bay signed?
Yeah, they just signed Cole Beasley.
They just signed him, right? So they signed, they're signing all these guys. They don't have anybody. Goes out, he's slinging it. But then the Green Bay defense takes over. And I also said, if you were going to take something, what else did I say? I said, take the under in that game because it's going to be low scoring. You thought it was going to be a shootout. I said, take the under. I think that, dude,
it was a good start for it. It was a good start.
It was a good start for it. What I think it comes down to is this, right? We look at this game. I wish it would have been the 8:00 game, even with how low scoring it was. This is a game that doesn't matter. This is one where Aaron, the week before, pays his homage. Tommy's a legend. He's going to go down. He's like, I beat him. I feel so good about myself. I beat him. But at the end of the day, dude, Tom knows that he owns Aaron. Aaron may own the Bears, but Tom owns Aaron. And this is a game that Aaron can hang his hat on. Green Bay fans go crazy. We beat Tommy. And it's not going to help Green Bay progress. It just isn't. They got a lot to improve on. A lot of young guys that are still missing assignments, still dropping the ball. Aaron still got the horrible body language. But I think the bigger thing, because that's all easy to say. I think the part that we're going to end up clipping here is what I'm about to say next, dude. And that's what's going on with Tom. What are we seeing with Tom right now, dude? This is different than that last year in New England. This is different. This is harder. This is him still having some weapons and not having it put together. This is him angry. This is him not happy. This is Bruce Arians steps away, is in the box, and then he's down on the field with against the Saints and encouraging players to fight. What's going on there? What's going on with Tom? And that's the question. Does it have to do with that you said you were going to retire and now you're back? Why didn't you just stay in it? I said in our first episode, because I want to get your opinion on everything I'm saying, I said that I thought that this would be a trot in for Tampa Bay to possibly get to another Super Bowl. Right now, even though Tommy's 2-1, it might be one of my worst takes that I take all year if Tampa keeps playing the way that they're playing right now.
I don't think so. I think they're going to get their guys healthy. They're going to get Evans back after this stupid 1-game suspension. They're going to get Godwin back in a week or two. They're going to be able to run the ball again with Fournette. They're figuring it out. Tom was off for a week and a half, not get the work in with those backup guys that now he's had to throw to.
What's going on?
Yeah, man. Real shit is what's going on, is what Tom told us, So, I mean, I obviously it's between him and Giselle at this point. When you go and you say, I'm done, we're walking away, you go have a couple of vacations, and then all of a sudden you're like,
I'm going back.
Babe, come on. Yeah. One more, at least, right?
I'll buy you a jet, but I'm going back for 17 more weeks.
Yeah, that's obviously what's going on with it. His head's not there. His body language has always been terrible, but Tom Brady, you never bet against that guy because he'll come back and he's going to figure it out, especially when people are counting him out.
That's
as somebody is going up against him in the NFC this year, I'm not counting Tom Brady out at all because when they get their guys healthy again, when that defense gets moving again, that defense proves that, hey, Aaron Rodgers came out, got 2 touchdowns quick. I thought, oh my God, they're going to blow him out. I don't think Tom's going to be able to keep up. They shut him down the rest of the game. So that defense is still there. They just need Tom to come back and not have Aaron Rodgers look at the Jumbotron and catch the plays.
Well, dude, I mean, we've said two things. Number one, we said it last week. Arguably, right now, both the Packers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have the top 6 and 5 best defenses in the NFC. There's no question about it. And listen, by no means am I taking back my bet that I don't think that Tom can get to the Super Bowl. I'm the biggest proponent of never bet against Tommy. What I am saying is that maybe I had too fiery of a take where it's just going to be a trot for him. I said that before I knew all of this stuff going on with him possibly at home, all of these things that are occurring with him on the sideline. Do I think that they can absolutely achieve a long playoff run? Yes, I do. But at the beginning of this season, I thought it was going to be a walkthrough. I thought it was going to be, what do I know? This is cake. This is Tom Brady's easiest season. Right now, I think that this could be one of his hardest seasons to make it to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that, because when you look at some of the other teams in the NFC, they're kind of starting to build up a little bit.
Sure.
There's talent all over it. And I want to kind of dive into one more game before we hit a quick break here. And that's between the Cardinals and the Rams.
Ooh.
Are those teams going to be able to compete with Tom and this Tampa Bay team, Harry? I mean, they both teams got the talent, but do they have the winning mindset? Obviously, the Rams do. They just coming off defending Super Bowl. But we got 2 minutes left here, Harry. Give me something before we dive into a little birds, and then we dive into next week's action on the slate.
Well, dude,
here.
let's be honest. Let's be quick, and let's get it out there. The Rams right now are looking like they're having a little bit of. They're having they I don't know how to describe it, but they're not the Rams of last year right now. Something's going on.
Can't run the football.
Can't run the football. They need it to click. They don't have a guy outside of Cooper Kupp right now that is that number one guy where OBJ was really providing that. The defense obviously is so steady, but again, you're always worrying, is Matt going to get hurt? Is that elbow? Listen, is he going to have to put on 3 shooting sleeves for his elbow to be protected? I don't know. Who cares? And then at the end of the day, dude, Kyler's only causing more questions to come up about him. Did he deserve the money? Why did they say the thing about the film? Why does Trilly get to make fun of the whole video game situation? He's only adding more validity to it. The Cardinals right now are not a team that can be trusted. They're not a team that I would put money on. They're not a team that you're going to hear me say and take a parlay. I will be honest. I don't think for the next 10 weeks, they're probably going to be a team that I say bet on them. I mean, the only time I would is if they played either the Texans or maybe the Bears. But right now, they're too edgy for me. I can't read them. They're all over the place. Kyler, with this comment after the game, when you play with me, you got to play awake. Well, no shit, dude. Your whole teammate should always be awake. I don't get it, man. And right now, I got a dark horse I'm going to reveal later in the show. But both of these teams are. They're on shaky ground. Arizona more, but they're both on shaky ground.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this Rams team, they just don't have that juice. They don't got the juice right now that they did last year. They don't have the explosiveness that they had. Matt Stafford doesn't have the arm that he's got, whether he's injured or not. It's fair to be seen. And then on the other side of it, I mean, you're right. The Cardinals, they don't have it. The rest of the guys, they've built up around him. DeAndre Hopkins is out for another couple weeks, so maybe that'll give them another weapon to make this offense a little more explosive.
Right.
Other than Marquise Brown and Zach Ertz.
Yep.
Other than that, they're like meh. They're meh at best, because the rest of that defense is whatever. Nobody scares you at this point. A 30-something-year-old JJ Watt, he's not scaring me.
No.
And other than that, who they got? Buda Baker. Okay. Other than that, who cares? That's where they're kind of at right now. That's what you deal with when you're dealing with a couple broke boys here. You get cut off mid-sentence, mid-flow. You were rocking and rolling. I was feeling it with that take, and then I just get cut short. But anyway, to wrap it up real quick, the Cardinals, they just don't have those other guys. I mean, maybe DeAndre comes back. That gives them that juice on that offense, but I just don't see it. I don't think Kyler's got that it factor. I don't think their head coach has that it factor to get them over and push them into a contender in the NFC. They don't have that swagger. They don't have the scheme, the dominance, the O-line, the defensive line that other teams in the NFC, just like the Philadelphia Eagles have, because that Eagles team, they got that swagger. They got that it factor. They got
Fly,
him.
Eagles, fly on the road to
victory. Fight. But if you haven't already, make sure you click the subscribe button, click the bell, make sure you follow us on Instagram, TikTok, wherever, Twitter. It's the Cold One Conversations. It's Brendan Petrilli. It's Harry Heaps. Because the Philadelphia Eagles are ready to rock and roll here. I'm ready to go on a Super Bowl run. I've sold my soul for the Phillies. Make sure you go check out the BSP podcast. I've sold my soul as a Philadelphia sports fan for another Eagles Super Bowl. I was talking to Harry beforehand. I'd rather see the Phillies win a World Series before the Eagles. But at this point, fuck it, man. Let's go for it. The Eagles got that team. They got the swagger. They got the juice. They got
Eagles.
Go Birds. Because
Hold on real quick, Trilly, before you go on, as Jacob Hoover would say, it's Washington week. Okay, keep going. That's what he would always say. He'd wake up 10 a.m., hand of Vlad, a Bud Light tall boy, and I go, Hoover, it's 10:30 in the morning. Harry, it's New York week. It's Washington week. Go ahead.
we need to get Hoove on
We do.
ASAP.
Well, he will be on soon.
Yeah.
He will be on soon.
Once we get it going here. Yep, for sure.
Yep.
I need him down at the tailgate with me at Jacksonville.
Well,
it's going to be a rainy day.
That would be bad.
We're going to slop it up, wet t-shirt contest down there. That'd be electric.
That would.
But anyway, Eagles go. They take care of business. I'm going to be short on this, right?
Do it.
Carson Wentz talked about a little bit of revenge, but I told you to take the Birds anyway, because this is the difference when we started that first pot of the year, that this was the game that was going to prove to me that the Eagles are going to take it to another level. They aren't going to mess around with these teams that are kind of middling, that have talent, but they can't put it together. Carson Wentz has the talent, but he can't put it together. He's the best quarterback that Washington has had in over 2 decades, maybe. I mean, RG3 had a great year. Kirk Cousins, but Carson has been like the top guy talented wise in over a decade for them. And the Eagles took it to them. They have 3 good wide receivers in McLaurin, Dotson, and Samuel. They took it to them. They got nothing through the air. The first 9 dropbacks, Carson Wentz got sacked 5 times. 5 times, Harry.
5 damn times.
To start the game. I mean, it was just a different animal. It's awesome to see. Now, my complaints are, these are the good complaints. When you don't score any points in the second half and you still dominate a team in the second half because your defense was that good. And special teams.
Yep.
Your punt return and kick return, they're meh. You've had a kick blocked, not great. But when those are my complaints, I'm all for it, man, because this offense, Jalen Hurts is throwing up the ball to Devontae Smith late in the first half. He's going up and he's snatching it on guys. He's fucking letting his balls hang. They're throwing on the Batman cape because there's no Robins on this team, bro. They're all alphas. They're all Batman. They're all ready to rock and roll, and they're ready to take over the NFC. And
Great take.
I'm pumped.
Superhero take, dude. But I'm gonna just tell you something. I got to pop the bubble a little bit. I need something bad to happen because I need you to
don't disagree with
pissed
that.
at your team the way that I get pissed at mine, because you're not. I need you to. I need that Trilly that when you're 3 or 4 deep in and you're going,
wait a minute,
they fucked up. But that's what I need. I need something like that. I'm not getting it, so I need him to lose 1. But dude, listen,
I'm sure it'll happen.
It will. But right now, Jalen Hurts, we both agree with this. He's currently a top 5 quarterback in the league. The argument can be made. The argument can be made that he is the 3rd best quarterback in the National Football League right now. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts just so happens to be our 2 quarterbacks. Dude, the Eagles
no
ready
bias.
to roll.
No fact check.
Yep, no, we don't fact check here. This is the cold one zone, aka the spin zone. But the point being is that the Eagles are ready to rock and roll. Yes, they're making mistakes, but dude, right now you are in a perfect position to strike. And you're in a position, I'm going to make a parallel here. I'm going to try to outdo your take. And I'm going to go back to another NFC team, and that's the Green Bay Packers, where you're in a position to strike where your hometown fans will not let you tread water and slip up the way that Green Bay fans let him. When he's the number 1 seed in the NFC 2 years ago, last year, goes on, has the best weather conditions in the snow for a West Coast team to come play in, and you lose in the second round of the playoffs, and you're the MVP of the league. Philly fans don't ride that way, dude.
Yeah.
They do not ride that way.
Hurts is gone.
No, Hurts is on. And if he doesn't deliver, they'll be yelling skull, but not in the good way for him. They'll be calling for a skull.
Yeah.
Dude, the Eagles are in a position right now to strike, man. They are, plain and simple. You've got, I don't know what happened from having a coach that sounded like he should be on our podcast to actually having a job in the NFL when he had his first press conference to now being 3-0, and Jalen Hurts outdoing everybody, having that Crimson Tide blood in him, showing who he is, putting his nose to the grindstone, working out with his receivers. You guys go out and get A.J. Brown. You hold this phenomenal defensive core. You keep the Kelly brother, who's arguably the most ideal NFL looking body ever. Dude, you guys are ready to rock and roll, dude. But at the end of the day, you've got to clean up. You did it against Washington. You didn't play down to your competition. You got to clean up in your division. You got to make sure that you make Dallas hurt and you make New York hurt, so that way that those games are cake. And if your division's cake, dude, you can go against anybody. That's my take.
No, for sure. I mean, you got Dallas coming up in a couple weeks. You got Arizona.
Yep.
You got Jacksonville. We'll get to in a minute here, but the biggest difference is that those wide receivers are making plays for Jalen, and Jalen trusts them. Last year, he wasn't going to throw the ball up to Devontae. He wasn't going to put that ball out there for him to go make a play twice right before the end of the first half there, where he goes up and makes a 50-yard catch and then tops it off 2 plays later with a touchdown. He wasn't doing that. But now you get AJ in there, Goddard, Smith, Watkins, and he trusts these guys. He's had another year to grow. He's throwing it up. They're going and getting it. The confidence is there. I'm excited, man. I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm ready for a goddamn Super Bowl, and I got to relax because I've been very conservative about the Eagles, but they're showing me more and more and more.
They're giving you a taste.
They get more pumped. I'm about to go down to this Jacksonville game and get absolutely loaded.
Is that it?
Is that a blast?
Is that at home?
Yeah, it's at home.
Have a glass. Dude, if you're at that game, you will be loaded. There's no question.
It's going to be a good time. If you're down at the game, make sure you hit me up on Instagram or Twitter. We'll have to meet up. We'll have to get our hot takes out there about this Birds team because we're all hype right now. We're all love.
Scratch that. If you're in the city of Philadelphia and you're at a tailgate and you have a table that you are looking to get rid of.
No, a TV. TVs only.
Or multiple tables, WWE style. John Cena. Trilly will take it out via his Instagram. He's got the receipts to prove it. Hit him up. All right, dude. I'm ready to go for our last recap of the week. Before we go on into this one, let's do a little KC Indianapolis. You were right. I thought that I was going to be right.
They were due.
Taking the points. You were right. They pulled it out. They pulled it out of their ass, though.
The dome was open.
They pulled it out of their ass. I mean, they were going on low-scoring game. I thought that the Chiefs were going to keep it close. I said take the points. Didn't hit, obviously. Indianapolis goes on to win 20-17. I think the bigger talking point is, why did KC only put up 17 points? What happened there? What did you see?
The Colts have a legit defense.
They do, but still the Kansas City Chiefs. So that you're putting up only 17 points to me is that, were the betting gods really that much on Indianapolis' side? Or is there something a little bit more there? I don't know. You tell me.
They had a couple drops. I mean, they came out firing so fast the first 2 weeks, right? That you thought, they're not going to miss Tyreek Hill, right? They're not going to miss him. It catches up to you. Having an all-world talent like that, a Pro Bowler, a top 5 receiver it'll catch up. That's kind of what happened. They kind of locked on Kelsey a bit more than other teams have because you have good linebackers on that team, and Darius Leonard and Zaire Smith, shout out LaSalle, live the fourth. But, you got actual linebackers on that team that can cover Travis Kelce, and you got to put that pressure on Miko Hardman, on Juju Smith doing TikToks, Sky Moore, and they just weren't able to get it done for them. They took the ball out of Patty Mahomes' hands. They kind of got in an altercation with the offensive coordinator going into half, where Patty's like, dude, let me just go for it rather than take a knee or kick a field goal. Right. They were kind of off sync there. And while you're like checking in on that game throughout the day, you're like, the Colts are hanging in there. They're only down 7. They're only down 4, whatever. Like, you're surprised that they were hanging with the Chiefs and the defense was able to make plays. And when it came down to it, they were able to make the plays at the end of the day that they weren't able to do the first 2 weeks against bad football teams. Now, does this mean the Colts are a good team? No. Matt Ryan's not good. He shouldn't have won that game. Yeah. But
they pulled out of their ass.
They were due at home in a dome. The roof was open.
They were.
Jim Irsay was working some magic. Patty Mahomes was a little off script, a little unorthodox there. They locked down Travis Kelce, his really only real option at the moment, and that's what got it done for them.
Correct. I mean, dude, you're making all the points that I would have made, except for the sure thing that, I'm going to lean a little bit more into what I said. I think just the football gods were on Indianapolis side this week. That doesn't happen again. When you're due, you're due. When the odd makers say you're due, 9 times out of 10, you're due. They go on, they win. Indianapolis is not the team that they should be. I had an absolutely horrible week, mind you, by the way, fantasy-wise. Chris Kerwin, he is canceled from the show. We thought that we would be bringing him on, but after this past week's performance, he will no longer be a part of it.
Sorry, Chris.
Just being through that, the point being is KC right now is in a legitimate, I don't care that they lost this past week. They are so viable right now to win their division and win it well, in my opinion, even though it's very early in the season still. It's crazy, dude. Raiders can't close. Russell is not cooking. And Herbert is getting touched way too much. And the Chargers don't have a defense. Chargers and the Ravens practically have the same defensive structure. They can't keep points off the board. They just can't. They can't do it, dude. I mean, Chargers have been a little bit better, like week 1. They were going against a better team than we were week 1 against the Jets. But either way, dude, like KC's got a really good chance right now having somewhat of an easy ride in division play. But overall, dude, I love what we just talked about. I'm ready to get into this week.
Let's get into it.
And dude, hey, we're proven real quick. Let's take a second to say, number 1, subscribe. We love the views, but it's Trilly and I right now. Okay. We're looking to build this thing. We're looking to give you guys information. We're giving this information out for free. Trilly goes 4-2 this past week. I go 3-2. He's telling you where to subscribe. He's giving you the magic hands. Do it. Just do it. The point being is it's time to subscribe. So, because we're giving you all the betting information. So, what are you feeling, Trilly? Are we doing, I feel like we should do, before we hit bets, because we always hit bets towards the end of the show, I want to talk a little bit of our outlook on week 4. And I want to ask you, going into week 4, there's been some teams that we haven't paid much attention to, that we haven't really talked about yet so far. And there's a team that I really want to get your opinion on, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay. My in-division rival, my biggest in-division rival, where we're having Mitch Trubisky get booed. They're yelling, bring out, what's his name? I don't even pay attention. I hate him so much. Huh?
Kenny Two Gloves.
The Two Glove? They're saying, bring out Two Glove. You got Ben Roethlisberger on social media saying, give Trubisky a chance. They got a straight up dog defense and a straight up dog of a running back in Najee Harris. But this is a team where you're seeing some of Mike Tomlin's calls and you're like, what is going on, dude? I mean, we're talking about top 10 coach in the NFL year after year, at times top 5 coach in the NFL, best coach at the podium. And now they got the Jets. They should definitely make an example out of this team, get a little bit of a rah-rah win. But what are you thinking about this team, dude? What do you see from them? Are they kind of what you expected going into week 4? I just want to get your opinion on what you're seeing out of this AFC North team.
I thought Mitch was going to be better, honestly.
I agree, especially after thinking behind Josh Allen.
Yeah, and they have weapons. They got Claypool, they got Deontay Johnson, you got Freiermuth, Najee Harris. It's not like he's not throwing to nobodies, you know?
Oh, agreed.
And he just hasn't been able to get it done. They can't move the ball down the field. These guys it's not like he's really even getting sacked a lot. He's not really getting pressured. It's just ugly. He's looking for the underneath stuff. It's pathetic, in all honesty, because you should be able to sling it with these guys. You got to let it loose. I think he's trying not to turn the ball over, because if he was turning it over, he would have been out already. I think that's the biggest thing that has saved his job, is he hasn't really turned the ball over as much as he has in the past.
I think he knew that.
Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, they need Mitch to let loose, but Mitch doesn't want to do it because he knows if he tries to, he's probably done in Pittsburgh.
I mean, dude, I think that's true. And to add on to that point, if he's done in Pittsburgh, then really, is he a starter anywhere else? Yeah. I mean, if you can't start around a coaching staff that, let's be honest, can pretty much prepare anybody. I mean, they have consistently, year after year, had they got a buttoned up front office, buttoned up ownership, buttoned up coaching staff, right? Always deliver on the defensive end, because that's what that division's made out of. Have had a Super Bowl winning quarterback, the dog that I've always dogged on, Fat Boy Ben, and have consistently had decent receivers and decent running backs. So I agree with you, man. He's trying to keep his job alive. What I think is interesting, though, is, do you think that they are in a position right now? And this is the next question I wanted to hit you with, because this is kind of a little bit of a hot take that I'm toying with. I don't know if I'm sold on it yet. I don't know if I believe in it, but it's more of a conversation. Do they have a chance to be better this year than the Cincinnati Bengals? Because because what I would argue is, if Trubisky somehow, some way, or if Two Glove comes out, can get this deal under control, I think that they can. As you've said, he's not getting touched that much. As you've said, he's not turning the ball over that much. And as you've also stated, they've got great weapons. And as I've stated, they've got a tremendous defense. If they can figure this out, there's no reason why they can't be better than a team that is setting their quarterback up to get injured right now. That's just my opinion. No. And not only that, but that's the team that was just in the Super Bowl. They shouldn't even be in this conversation. I shouldn't even be having this idea, but I am. We haven't talked to our Steelers fans. I hate you, but I also love you because I want you to subscribe.
Nah, I mean, that Bengals team's got too much. Even if Kenny comes in, I mean, that really wasn't his whole game at Pittsburgh, is to sling it down the field. He had that mid to immediate range where that's where his sweet spot was.
Yeah.
But maybe he's able to make better throws, because Mitch isn't willing to take the shots.
No.
Their biggest concern is that they haven't been able to run the ball with a good running back.
Right.
If they've been able to get 5 yards plus a game with Najee in the backfield, then that takes a lot of pressure off of Mitch, and he doesn't have to make the big throws down the field. So at the end of the day, I don't see the Bengals overtaking the Steelers at all. The only reason I could entertain it is because of the head coach, and because the head coach has never had a losing season.
Correct.
But other than that, the Bengals have a better squad. They're deeper. They have more talent. They have more talent at the quarterback position. I like the Bengals more. And I like the Bengals this week, too, if Tua is not playing.
Oh, if you don't like the Bengals this week because Tua is playing, then you know something that we don't know.
Yeah.
If Tua is not playing and the Bengals don't win this game, well, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say a money line thing, because they're going against a very legit front seven that's going to touch him a lot. I mean, let's be honest.
Well, are they, though? They didn't really touch Lamar that much.
But that's because the Ravens right now have a legit offensive line. Do the Bengals?
No. They didn't get after Josh Allen that much, but they also have a better offensive line.
Exactly. And right now, my argument is that the Bengals are setting up Burrow to have a season the way that he did his first. Dude, if this guy gets touched, there's no question about it. Burrow's a dog. Burrow's a legit talent. Burrow is a franchise quarterback. Burrow will win a Super Bowl. But Burrow will not do these things if you cannot get those men in the trenches. That's a little precursor for all you ladies and gents that are listening to us, by the way. But it's true.
We're getting there.
If you can't get guys to protect, like, here's a key example. Look at how strong right now. One of the key examples that I would give that the Eagles are 3-0 right now and why the Dolphins are 3-0 right now is because both of those teams did so much restructuring and development within their offensive lines for smaller quarterbacks, for guys that arguably can't see over the field as much, might get hurt more, can get damaged more. They've put their nose to the grindstone. We're going to improve this. We're going to keep our QB safe. Cincinnati's not doing that. And that's my whole point, is that the Steelers are a team that
Cincinnati tried. They brought in Lyle Collins at left tackle, but
and he sucks.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that.
So the point being,
you're not finding a Jordan Mailata in the 7th round every draft.
You're not. So the point being is that the Steelers need to step up. This is your time where you can overtake, I think, this Bengals team. I don't really know what's going on in Cleveland. They seem to have their wits about them at times and their wits not about them at others. But yeah, man, I just thought I'd throw it out there.
Because this game's at home, I like Pittsburgh. But if this game was in New York, and if Joe Flacco was playing, I would take the Jets. But supposedly
Joey Flacco, you mean the Super Bowl winning quarterback?
Yeah, but the MILF Slayer is back in there this week, supposedly, as of right now. So the MILF Slayer.
Oh, I think you said the Goat Slayer.
Oh, no.
Dude, do you think that that's real?
Zach Wilson.
He never denied it.
He looks young, though. He didn't deny it. He looks too young, though. He's got the money. All right, but I'll take the Steelers there to win that football game.
All right. Yeah, keep going.
Do you want to get into our favorites and all that, or do you want to hit another game or two before we get into that?
Let's do one more game and then let's get into our bets.
All right. What do you think? I don't know. I'm looking what I don't want to touch. You know what I'm saying?
I do. I mean, I got a good game that I don't know how to bet it, but I want to bet it. So I don't know if I'm going to pick. Well, how about this? Let's talk about it. Let's do here. We got to get out of the way. Let's do the 9:30 a.m. Sunday morning.
All right, I was looking at that too. Yeah.
Minnesota at New Orleans.
Yeah.
At New Orleans via the pond, via the plane, via England. Okay.
Via the boat, not the Titanic.
Via the boat.
Not the Titanic.
Film. Highly recommend the film. Dude, first of all, what a really? Wow. Uncultured swine. What a stupid game. What a stupid time. And I am so done with this international freaking going to play football game. It's a Sunday afternoon thing. It's a Sunday evening thing. Let's keep it that way. Come on. But here's what I'm going to say, man. If New Orleans can pull this game off, then they are going to prove that the Vikings front office made the wrong decision in re-upping Kirk. If they can win this game, then that is my biggest takeaway. Why the hell did you extend his contract? Why did you give him a new contract? Because this is a game that the Vikings should win. The talent that they have is on the offensive side, I would argue, is just as good as the Saints. You've arguably got the better, more experienced quarterback. And on top of that, your defense isn't better, but it's suitable. It can keep up. If the Vikings don't win this game, every Vikings fan should be out on Kirk. There's no reason why Jameis Winston should beat you here. You should want it more.
Yeah. Primetime Kirk. This isn't him. At 9:30 in the morning on a Sunday is the farthest thing from prime time. So Kirk Cousins should shine in this game. You know, he's 2-9 in his last Monday night or Sunday night football games. So this is as far from that as possible. So if you have any hope in Kirk Cousins, it's in this game. Now, on the flip side of that, the Saints have a good defense. I mean, they just do. That's the reason why that they were such a heavy favorite going into this season, why people were betting them and the Vikings and the Eagles to come out of the NFC as underdogs, because they have Lattimore and other guys. They brought in Tyrann Mathieu. They have the defensive line. their biggest thing that's been holding them back is the GOAT, famous Jameis Winston. Now, does the England turf, did he catch some crabs on the way on the boat over, like to eat before the game?
Jeez,
I don't know.
We don't know.
Because he is brutal when it comes to it.
Yeah.
When it matters most.
Yeah.
He hasn't had that clutch gene that he's had at FSU. You know, you haven't seen him win since.
Yeah.
And even then, you could even say that maybe he was relying on Dalvin Cook and maybe his defense a little bit to get it done for him.
Yep.
He just throws interceptions at the worst time, bro. He'll throw for 350 yards in this game. Take the over in that prop right now. He will sling it, maybe even 400 yards passing. But he will throw 2 picks. They will lose this football game.
Oh, yeah.
And it'll go under because the Vikings aren't going to be able to score as much.
Yeah. They have for Kirk's sake, they've got to lose this game. And dude, I've said it before, I'll say it again. We said this on the first episode of the podcast. If the Saints had a legit quarterback in there, they would be in the Super Bowl conversation.
See, I'm a Jameis guy too, but man,
I know. But you know, and we're at the time. You know that I'm right about this though. You know, if they,
no, I agree.
Even if they had somebody like as bad as he's been so far this season, I'll even throw it out there. If they had Derek Carr there, they would be like, this is a legit team. This is a legit NFC championship team. This team could go there. Like, if they had a guy that was even up to his level of talent, they would be highly considered to be a very deep team in the season. But this whole Jameis thing holds them back, right? I think that is a good place to end it on. I am ready to do these bets because we got to talk about why these people should be like sooner or later. Here's the thing. If you guys get in early on this podcast, on the subscription, we won't charge you as much one day. But when we get that $100 million deal and then we're charging you extra, as the Sopranos would say, a vig to then get our picks, guess what? You'll be paying face value. You're not going to get the comp. You're not going to get the family pricing. Trilly's going 4-2. I'm going 3-2. That's above 500. You got to get in on this. You got to listen to us. You got to read the bet slip. You got to put it in. Maybe don't do parlays the way I do them. Maybe do a straight bet. I'm rethinking that policy. Trilly has the straight bet down. He doesn't need to rub it in my face, but he will. So I'm ready to get into them, man, if you are.
You hit the big parlay, though, this past week, though. That's all that
I did.
You hit one of those every once in a while, and it feels good. But the most consistent thing is just to hit those straight ups. You make your money back, and then maybe sprinkle in the parlays just for fun. That's the kind of way I've been going lately. You'll hit a parlay here or there.
Well, you've been putting down some juice lately on these bets too. Like you're not doing the 10 to win 1,000 the way that I ride.
Yeah,
you're doing the real deal McCoy. Now are we talking C notes? Maybe we are, maybe we're not. What we're talking is
when I have a feeling on a game like I did last week when we were talking Ravens Pats, I said the Ravens will blow that team out. Now they didn't blow them out, but they covered the 6.5.
They covered. Yeah.
That alternative spread. I said they're winning by a touchdown. And goddamn right, Lamar Jackson won by a touchdown. So that won me big. And then when I saw that the Bengals were only favored by less than a touchdown against the Jets, I said, Joe Burrow 0-2, he's going in, he's going to win that football. And that's what happened. So now, Harry, let's move in. Let's hit one real quick here. Let's look at our favorite underdogs for this week here.
Dogs.
Who's catching points that we think that will either make it a football game or might straight up win it, honestly, at this point. I mean, I'm looking at a couple here. Do you got a feeling on anything right out the gate?
My favorite underdog? I do. I can't believe I'm going to say it, but I do. I'm going to give one last glance to make sure I'm not an idiot before I make this call. I kind of have two, just like I had last week, but I got to decide between one. I'm going to be honest with you, dude. Chicago.
Okay.
Chicago on the road. Chicago on the road playing the Giants. They're plus 3.5. Money lines plus 150.
I like that.
Over under 39.5.
Oh,
This is a team that isn't good. We all know this. This isn't new information. It's not news breaking, but it is a team that at one point or another can get a win together. You might not be able to do it against one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time in Aaron Rodgers, but Daniel Jones is not one of those guys. So I think that if you guys can act somewhat competent, you can get it done. I think that Justin Fields, dude, you know this about me. I like the kid. I loved him when he was at Ohio State. He was a dog. He just is. And he is a guy who, and Big Cat defended him. He's a guy who he wants to win. He cares about his teammates. I think that he genuinely loves that he's in a sports town that's like Ohio State, where those fans will kill for their team. They are diehard for their team. They don't care that they lose. They will love them unconditionally. That's what being a Chicago fan is. And I think that he feeds off that and loves it. They're my dog, dude. I don't know whether I would take the money line. I definitely would take the points. So you know what? That's what I'll say.
Points because it's going to be a 3-point game either way. I think just because neither of these teams are going to be able to score enough touchdowns.
Agreed.
It's a lot of field goals in this football game. Especially New York. It's going to rain a lot on the East Coast. I hope everybody's doing okay down in Florida.
Yeah.
Right now. Shout out. Hold those Eagles flags and those high and strong down there. But anyway, you're moving on to it there where Justin Fields is really getting into it, where the biggest thing is they haven't been able to throw the football. They've only completed 40 passes on the year, dude. 40.
I know.
As a team.
That's team.
In 3 games. Like,
yeah.
Guys are Joey Flacco throws for 65 in 1 game. That's bad.
It is. It's crazy.
Now, I think that the Bears have enough defense to be able to stifle Danny Dimes because they can't do much more other than that. It's going to be an ugly game. 39.5 is a little low, but I don't know.
You think so? See, I that's the thing. That's another game where I like an alternate spread. You really think
go lower than that? I don't hate it because I think it's going to be a rainy football game. I think both teams are going to run the football. Both teams are more than capable in running the football, and they love to do it.
Yes.
With Saquon and David Montgomery maybe will be back. We don't know yet as we're recording this, but Khalil Herbert took over last week, scored 2 touchdowns, over 100 yards. So both teams are more than willing to run the football. They can do it. I just don't see these teams scoring touchdowns because both of the defenses are okay. They can get the job done. So I like that. I like the Bears a lot, honestly, in that with taking 3.5, 100%. But the one game that I kind of like where another underdog is that I was talking last week that a team is due, and that's the Tennessee Titans. They're due. Going up against the Colts, who get a big win over the Chiefs. The Titans are due big time.
You're a sneaky dog, man. Wow. And the line is at 3 even. Well, not even, but 3. No half bullshit. Yeah. Just straight up 3.
Yeah. So, I mean, they've been able to run the football a lot. Tannehill has been figuring out his new wide receivers. You get rid of A.J. Brown, it's tough going without that. But this Colts team's not that good. They got that win that they needed to keep Frank Reich's job last week. I think that this is a big letdown spot for them in this situation. It's an in-division game. The Titans have taken care of the Colts the past couple of years in this rivalry. It's going to be a slugfest. I think the number at over-under at 42.5 is at the right spot there.
Yeah, totally agree with that. Yes.
But I like the Titans in this football game with Derrick Henry running the football.
You like it enough to do would you do a money line?
Yeah, because I think if they're going to win, if they're going to cover the 3, they're going to win.
Okay.
Yeah. No, 100%. Because the Colts, Matt Ryan just doesn't have the arm. I at least that I have some running ability with Tannehill if he does need to break out.
Right.
So I like that option more with Derrick Henry and the guys that they have rather than Matt Ryan throwing the Michael Pittman and who else did they have at wide receiver?
Dude,
you got Jonathan Taylor, but they haven't been able to run the ball as well this year. We got a minute left.
Yeah, we got a minute 30 left. No, dude, I think that those points are great. We got to do we'll do our unders, and then we'll do our faves, and then we'll do our locks. But I'll tell you guys, I mean, we didn't really give much prep. If you're listening, we didn't give really much prep to these two picks that we just made, and both of us made some pretty damn solid points for those underdogs, dude. No, straight up though. Like, you think about that, dude. Like, Chicago can definitely get it done week 1. Their field's flooded. They do their thing, and you're absolutely right. Tenny is due. Tenny is due. Let's hit the break.
All right, let's hit it. We'll be right back. Cold One Conversations. Make sure you subscribe. And we're back. Make sure you click the subscribe button. I know we've told you 1,000 times, just because we know we're getting the views. All of you guys are watching. Just click the button real quick. It takes 1 second. It helps us out. Click the bell so you know when we go live. Because we're red hot. Our picks are rocking and rolling here. And we're about to get into some more. We just came up with the HTL locks of the week and the parlay. So make sure you follow along the rest of this episode and throughout the rest of the season here, because we're looking to make some money and we're looking to make you some money. That's all that matters here. We're building a community. We're all trying to get rich. We're all trying to move to Florida after the hurricane moves through, but we're ready to rock and roll here. And Harry, let's get into it. Open another one up.
Oh, nice, man.
Go for the first over of the week. Go for it.
First over of the week at plus 220. It's just going up. I'm doing an alternate spread. Buffalo Bills at Baltimore Ravens. I'm taking the over, again, an alternate spread, over 58.5 points. I like this game, Trilly. I like Buffalo coming for blood, and I'll be very surprised if the Ravens can't put up at least 25 points. This is a game, bet the over, book it, take the over 58.5.
It's a lot of points, but I like it because Buffalo's secondary's been banged up. The Ravens haven't been able to prove that they can stop anybody. Josh Allen's willing to sling the ball, and so is Lamar at this point.
Damn straight. Both
these teams are willing to go and score at will. They've been able to show that they have been able to. I like it. 58's a lot of points, especially in an NFL football game. But this game is primed, especially the way the Bills' offense got shut down this past week by Miami. They're looking to bounce back. This Ravens defense has a lot of holes in it, and they're going to expose it.
Damn straight. Let's do it.
My over of the week, Harry. What was I talking to you about here? I really like this over in the... Shoot, where'd it go? Why did my computer freeze? I like the over in the Chargers versus the Houston Texans.
This is an interesting pick, man. This is an interesting pick.
I think Justin Herbert gets another week under his belt. They just got shellacked. I think the Houston Texans are able to score points. Mills Mafia. With Cooks and the running backs there and Rex Burkhead and Damian Pierce. I think they're able to put up 17-plus points. That Chargers offense can get you 30-plus whenever they want. They haven't been able to figure out the ground game with Austin Eckler yet and him through the air. I think this is the game that they do it. Houston's defense is so-so. They can really get it going with Keenan Allen hopefully coming back healthy after a 2 weeks hiatus. Mike Williams has gotten some touchdowns. Austin Eckler's ready to break out. I got him in fantasy. I need him. So this is the time, I think, with this defense that they're going up against, they're able to put up that points that we're expecting this whole start of the year.
Yeah.
And I think Mills Mafia and Houston are still able to put up points, even if this Chargers defense is okay. And we might get lucky with some extra touchdowns at the end of the football game.
Listen, man, I don't love it, but I'll tell you something. You've been picking some good games. I don't love it. I don't know enough about it. You gave a lot of great points. I say book it.
See, I was talking with Sierra the other night, right? And I was sitting. I met my little cousin, Cooper Pup. It's Cooper Wolf. He's not a wolf yet. He's a little baby. He's a pup still. I'm holding Cooper Pup. And my cousin Shane and his wife Leanne are sitting there. Shane and I were talking sports gambling, and she's just like, Why do you guys talk about this so much? The games aren't until tomorrow night. Or not till later. We're like, Leanna. I go, Leanna, when you're in school, do you not study the night before, a couple nights before?
Great point.
You want to get a good grade.
Great point.
Now we're putting our money on the line. Do you not want us to study? to make sure we know what we're doing heading into these games. We got to study the lines. We got to study the props. We got to know the overs, the unders. We got to know who's out. We got to know who's in. We got to know who has a cold. We got to know who's getting laid the night before, because when it comes down to it, our wallet's on the line. That's the sports gambling about. We got to study. We got to talk about it. We got to get prepared. And that's what we do here at Cold One Conversations, because we give you winners.
Bet on us. Bet on us. Let's go to the unders.
Let's get it.
I'm giving you
first. I hate unders, so you go first.
I'm giving you two. I love the unders. I'm giving you two unders. Two unders. Listen to me. My under last week hit 39.5 under Dallas on the road to New York. The under hit. You should have booked it. You should have put 100 on it. I'm giving you two new unders. Alternate point spread. Under 39.5, New England on the road against Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Mac Jones is out. He's going to be out for several weeks. Aaron has proved he can score, but he can't score that well against really high-level defenses. The Patriots are they're an in-between of what he's played. They're not as good as the Bucs, but at the same time, they're not anywhere close to as bad as the Bears. I think Aaron here can definitely score at least 17 points, no question about it, with 2 touchdowns. I think that Aaron Jones is going to have a big game, but I think that the Patriots are going to have a really hard time getting it together, and I think that the Green Bay Packers does well keeping points off the board. I'm going to move quickly here because I don't have much to say. The other under that I'm saying you got to book, under 45.5 points, Denver Broncos on the road against the Raiders. Both of these teams, I don't care that right now the Broncos are 2-1, and hey, I picked them to win their division, don't forget. But they're both having a lot of trouble getting it together. The Raiders don't know how to close. They're going to go on, most likely lose another game in a row. Who even knows? Devontae Adams is pissed. Neither of these teams know how to score, with Denver only scoring 11 points last week. Book it. Again, under 39.5, New England at Green Bay, and under 45.5, Denver at Vegas. Trilly, who do you got with the unders?
Yeah, I mean, my under, I like the Browns versus the Falcons. 47.5 points is a lot. The Browns are able to run the football. That's going to take up a lot of clock. You're betting on Marcus Mariota to light it up? I don't think so. I mean, they put up 28 points last week against a very bad Seahawks team. That we probably won't even talk about that Seahawks team today. That's how bad they are.
Yep.
That's all they need to be talked about. Honestly, it's too much. But when it comes down to it, this Browns team will put up 21, 24 points, and that'll be the end of it. They're going to win that football game. This Falcons team, they got Kyle Pitts. That's about it. Drake London's becoming a nice little rookie, maybe offensive rookie of the year. But you got Marcus Mariota at the end of the day. These teams aren't putting up close to 50 points.
No.
Take the under in that game.
Love it. Let's go to our HTL. That is our pure lock. That is the game that we are telling you must take, the HTL. You're going to book it. You're going to make money on it. Trilly, give us your HTL.
It's Harry and Trilly's locks of the week, the HTL. My first lock is going to be the Detroit Lions -4.5 over the Seattle Seahawks. I just said that we probably shouldn't talk about that Seattle Seahawks team a lot.
You did.
I'm going to talk about them a little more. They stink. That's all you got to know.
Stink!
Take the Lions. The Lions, they're biting kneecaps. They're coming up, and if they miss, they're biting them again. And they've battled the Eagles tough. They battled the Vikings tough. They went and they got a victory in between those two games. I'm blanking on who they beat. But this team is willing to go out and sling the ball. DeAndre Swift might be out. Game time decision as of right now. But they have weapons in Amon-Ra St. Brown, TJ Hawkins Sox. Yeah. They got Jamal Williams. They got guys all over this team. Yes. Aiden Hutchinson on the defense. They're a different squad. They're going to go and take care of business and finish this and cover easily against the Seattle Seahawks.
Well, love that pick. I'm not going to drown on it because you just gave so much information on why you should. My HTL, Harry and Trilly's locks, is Trilly's own Philadelphia Eagles. Take the points. It's a lock, -6.5 at home against Jacksonville. I'm sorry, Jacksonville. Believe me, do I want you to have 8 wins? I do, but it won't be against Trilly. Go Eags, go Eagles, go Birds, fly Eagles, fly. Book it, -6.5. I think that the Eagles could even win by 10 points. Take the points. My HTL -6.5, the Eagles.
The biggest thing is what I said earlier when we were talking about last week's games, right? It was good that the Jaguars went and took care of business and absolutely dominated the Chargers. Because if they would have went and just kind of barely lost or barely won that game, Nick Sirianni and the Eagles and all of us Eagles fans are kind of like, it's a bad Jacksonville team. They prove that they can go in and they can beat anybody. So that wakes this team up where they've struggled in the second half of football games. They've gotten the early leads. They've taken care of business against bad quarterbacks.
Yes.
Now they got a decent to legit one that's trying to prove themselves. You got another revenge game coming off of Carson Wentz with Dougie P coming back in the building. His statue is right outside of the gates. You don't think he's trying to prove that why his statue's there? Like, he's going to come in, try to amp his team up, try to get it going. But this Eagles defense is too much for Trevor Lawrence. He hasn't seen a defense that flies all over the field. You have too much defensive line pressure, too much depth. You have too much experience on the back end with Slay and Bradbury. I'm expecting another whopping. It's going to be great. The Eagles are going to run the ball more in the rain this time. Take Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown. Even Miles Sanders parlay that.
Little side bet. I like it. Now we're offering a brand new bet.
Brand new.
We are expanding the show. This is why you got to stay episode by episode. Subscribe. Put on that bell notification. We're bringing in new ideas. This is the HTL parlay. This is a set of picks where we might take some of our over, our under, maybe our favorites, where we're going to put them all together, and maybe even a new bet where we're going to put it together in a 4-bet parlay for you to put down minimal money and get a large payout. I'm going to start with my two, and then I'm going to throw it over to my man Trilly. First game that we're going to throw to the HTL parlay, Chiefs at Tampa, under 45.5. I'm going to give you my reasoning right now. Number one, Tampa, I don't think that right now Tom's in a position to put up a bunch of points. He doesn't have his full receiving core coming back. Yes, he's going to have Mike Evans. Will he have Godwin back? We don't know. Will Leonard Fournette be shut down? We don't know. Most likely not, but Julio Jones probably not coming back with that torn. I forget what it is, but he's got a tear. Either way, you got to take the under. The Chiefs, they haven't faced a defense, Trilly. We both know this, as good as Tampa's right now. Yeah, they've been putting up points, and yeah, they might have only put up 17 against the Colts. But, dude, this is the best defense that they have faced so far all year. Yeah. They're going to keep points off, take the under. And then my next one, can't believe I'm saying this because I really like the Niners, but take the money line plus 100 Rams on the road. Rams on the road plus 100 money line. Take under KC Tampa Bay. What's your two, bro?
Yeah, I mean, just to clean up those games a little bit there, to give my little bit of a take there. I mean, unders are huge on Sunday Night Football. I mean, it's an absolute cover machine for the unders. I agree with you. That Bucs team, they were able to shut Aaron Rodgers down after those first couple drives there to hold him only to 21 points or so.
Yep.
I absolutely love that. I think the Chiefs are still figuring it out a little bit. Tom Brady and Patty Mahomes, you think air it out. Tom's still waiting to get his receivers back fully healthy. I got burned a little bit last week on going on that Tom Brady factor that he's due to go for a big game.
You did?
I don't think it's there yet. I think they're going to try to run the football. I think Leonard Fournette has been very out and open talking about how much he wants to get into the end zone for that team. So I like the under there. I really like that Rams. Them on the road, only not so far away down in Santa Clara. Oh. This 49ers team, they aren't explosive. All it takes is one or two big plays from Cooper Kupp from Matt Stafford to give them a lead. And I don't see Jimmy Garoppolo being able to come back in a football game if they're down 14 plus points that the Rams can do it. So getting plus money there, I'll take that all day. Now I'm going to put in my Detroit pick into that parlay because I like that. I like it a lot. Okay. I absolutely love that pick a lot, that I'm willing to put it in for both on the record there. One game that we really didn't talk too much about, did we? For my other part of this parlay, we didn't talk about it all. I'm going to take the over, 41.5. Washington Commanders, Dallas Cowgirls.
Wow. We did not talk about that game at all, and you're taking the over. Okay.
I like it. 41 points. I think Carson was able to score a lot of points the first 2 weeks, right?
He was.
They're going to be able to bounce back. Dallas, now you can say that they have just as good as a pass rush as the Eagles. I don't disagree with that with Michael Parsons and Lawrence on the defensive line there. But Cooper Rush is not going to be able to – he's going to be able to sling it. He's going to be able to do just as much as Carson can and more. I like these teams to squeak out a couple broken plays that Carson wasn't able to do last week against his old team. I think they're going to be able to run the football. I think Tony Pollard's going to have another big day. I think 41 points is light for those two teams.
Well, there you have it. That is the HTL parlay. We gave you the HTL locks. We gave you our overs. We gave you our unders. We gave you our faves. You got to keep tuning into the show. This is episode 4. We're going to have episode 5 next week, 6 the next week, 7 the next, and so on and so forth. My name is Harry Heaps. I'm joined by my partner in crime, Brendan Petrilli. And, dude, I think that this is due. The big thing that's due is it's time for football to step it up. I think that we're going to have some great games here. I think that we're going to make some money. Stay tuned to see our graphic come out for our bet slip. We'll remind you of all of them before the games go live so you can get them in. Hit that bell notification. And, dude, if you have any other words, I think we're ready to close it out.
Yeah, man. I mean, last week was a little ugly. A lot of ugly football games, but the NFL always delivers. And we're in for another good week this week. Maybe some sloppy conditions. We'll have to see. Weather report. Maybe we'll have to get a weather girl in here, weather guy in here moving forward. Little sneak preview. But from that point, I'm excited. We're hitting over a 60% clip here at this podcast. I mean, talk to any shark. That's what where you want to be, if not a little bit above that.
Mark Cuban's been calling us.
We're locked in. We're ready to go. Give us your ideas if you want anything else from us. Make sure you go down in the comment section. Shout out to the 215. Go Birds, baby. I'm pumped about the Birds.
If you're a Dolphins fan, stick it where the sun doesn't shine. Go Ravens.
All right. See you, everybody. Have a good one. See you next Thursday.